Hey lovelies, it's Imogen. I have a brand new YouTube account for planner stuff, so please subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. In 2016 to 2019, I was what I called a planner girl. I was absolutely obsessed with planners. But since 2019, I fell out of love with it quite quickly, as I was leaning towards using bullet journals, which took ages to set up. But with my fibromyalgia and mental health issues, I felt if I missed a week or even a month, that the whole thing was ruined and I couldn't continue and need to start over. Bullet journals just really weren't working out for me. I did try going back into a file effects, but it really annoyed me that they've changed the ink on them to be blue ink. And I even tried using a Mrs. Hinch list book for a while, and that only covered part of my needs. So when I saw that Kirsty was putting out not only a planner, but a Gothic planner, well, I had to have it. So I thought I'd do a little unboxing video sort of thing. Unlike most planners that I was looking at, this one was a great price. And since we're both in the UK, it also comes with UK celebratory dates. So anyone who's international would need to adjust that if they were lucky enough to snag one of these planners. But this seems to have the perfect amount of space for me to be able to list and plan, as well as all the other things that I want to do. And I even discovered that I could add pages if I wanted to add trackers and more. I definitely want to use decor and functional stamps in this planner. I do like stickers, but I imagine that the already quite heavy book would become even more heavier if I did loads of stickers. So I'm going to try and refrain from using so much stickers and washi tape like I normally do in my planners, and focus more on some of the thousands of stamps that I've bought over the years. As said, this planner is by Kirsty, who is Simply Spooky and Simply Gothic online. I'll definitely put her information in the description below. She's a YouTuber, Instagrammer, small business owner, and I think it's fair to say she's a goth influencer. I'm not at all affiliated with Kirsty, and my fiance actually bought me this planner a few months ago on pre-order as an early birthday gift for me. So as I said before, I've generally found that my routines, habits and to-do lists aren't getting done, especially due to my health, but since not keeping a planner, it's got even worse. So I have a fair few ideas of how I can utilise this planner on top of that, and hopefully I'm leaning towards using this as an oversized Hobonichi week style layout. However, the Hobonichi weeks is a bit on the smaller scale for me, although I do like the look of it, and I don't exactly like the price either. So let's talk about a few pros and cons I have with this planner, which absolutely none of them are deal breakers, and all of them are my personal thoughts and opinions, and quite honestly, the term pros and cons is an extreme terminology for my nitpicking and personal thoughts over this. However, let's get started with some pros. Firstly, I'm loving the overall look and feel. I like that it's A5 size and the months are themed, so if you don't want to add your own decor, or if I didn't have time to add my own decor, then it's already done for me, so I don't have to feel like abandoning my journal. I also like that it's a good spiral bound book. It's not a flimsy plastic, it doesn't feel like it's going to break, and the spiral binding also allows the planner to lay flat when open. This is one of my biggest pet peeves about the Leuchtturm and the Rhodia, most Moleskines that I've tried with my bullet journals. They're typically a firm stitch binding and they tend not to lay flat. I do like that there's monthly calendars and that the weeks follow. I imagine this would be really good if you use a paperclip style bookmark, as the front can be the month and the back could be the week for easier finding, especially since the weeks follows the months, and I'm hoping that the thickness of the pages won't be too thick for that to happen. I do like the layout as mentioned. I quite like the look of the Hobonichi weeks, and I do like my bullet journals, so I generally do this layout in them. Weeks on one side, notes, trackers, lists on the other, and for a short while I did a similar thing in file effects too, with a week on one page and then a grid page between the 2 weeks. So there's some definite good points here, as well as I mentioned before, the price point, no import fees, UK dates. The cons, well, the cons aren't even really all that much of a con. So firstly, the cover is really nice. It feels like a rubbery texture, but it marks super easily, and I've only taken it out the shipping box 3 times. I don't know if it was an extra cost, but it's a nice texture, but it does mark really easily, and being tossed around in a bag with keys and makeup and hairbrushes and who knows what else, I would imagine that it won't hold up very well over time. But I'm hoping that I will be able to find some kind of A5 cover, or even make an A5 cover that will be able to fit this in. I don't really like the amount of space with the notes, goals, ideas boxes. It feels like there's too much wasted space as I have a fairly average size handwriting, but I'm stuck with a lot of waste space due to the lines. So if the sections were blank or even a faint dot grid, I think that would have worked out much better. And especially if we could have added our own headers to each of these sections as well. I feel like I do like that she added those, but I also feel like I do kind of want to make it more my own. Yes, we could cover up these sections with stickers, but I do feel that around 65 pages would add an awful lot of bulk and weight to the planner to do that every single week and every single month. Speaking of weight, as I mentioned before, it's not light, so if you're like me and disabled or have an illness where carrying around a book, it might be too much to carry. For me, I hardly go out, so I doubt I'll take this with me even if I do, but the quality of the paper and the thickness before adding stickers is definitely a thought. But I imagine the quality binding would allow for chunkier content if you're someone who likes to add stickers or layering, or stick in ephemera and keepsakes and such. Anyway, moving on. I do love the UK dates, and so I thought being a UK planner should have added UK moon phases, but perhaps she left them out so people in the opposite hemisphere can still use this planner. I know that that's my main issue with the Llewellyn's Witches date book or almanacs of any kind. They tend to be the opposite hemisphere to my own, and that's useless to me. Anyway, adding moon phases is absolutely another thing that I can easily do, as I have stamps, stickers and stencils which allow me to do that, or I could even freehand. Speaking of additions, there's no bookmark, no pen loop and no elastic to keep the book closed, and I wish that there was a pocket or two. But I do feel that these are also things that I could add myself, and probably will, so it's not that much of a deal breaker. One thing I really don't like though is that it's got her name on the front of it. I'm all for branding, and branding on the back is absolutely fine for me. The book actually came with two stickers, one of a logo and one of a little ghosty guy, and I thought about adding him to the front cover to cover up her name, but he's just too small. But I did have this idea that I could use either my Brother label maker or my Dymo label maker and put my own name over the front. I do wish there were some blank pages for every month though to do some trackers. I guess you could easily add pages, and as I mentioned before, I even found out a hack to be able to add my own pages to this without having to take it apart or do anything really crazy. I do like that it starts on Monday the 27th of December, but I really did wish that it started at the beginning of December or at least a week prior, mostly because it's my birthday, but to cover Christmas. I'm currently not in a planner and trying to use my phone to make lists and plans, and it's not working out very well for me. But I'm excited to use this, so I just can't wait for the 27th of December so I can get started. Also, like most other planners that I've used, this one didn't come with tabs, so I can easily turn to the month. So I'm definitely going to add some tabs, and I've already got a really good idea for how I'm going to go about doing that. And the last one, which I suppose is more of a pro than a con, as mentioned, the pages are really thick and good quality, so that it doesn't look like the ink will bleed through. In fact, I did a pen test, and I found that with the Papermate Inkjoy pens, they don't bleed, they don't ghost, they dry really quickly, they don't even smudge. And in fact, I even stamped in the back of my planner, and even that didn't smudge, so I am very impressed with that quality. Which I'm really glad for, that quality where there's no ghosting, no bleeding, no ill effects. I think that's another thing that would have annoyed me about the ghosting and the Hobonichi. So that's my personal thoughts, and absolutely nothing against the planner or Kirsty, who is simply spooky and has the small business of Simply Gothic. And basically, it's all I have to really say, and to be honest, most of that is nitpicking and things that I can absolutely do myself to make this planner more my own. So that's something that I'm going to go ahead and make a few adjustments now. And if that's something you'd like to see in my future videos as well, as along with stamp with me, plan with me type videos, then absolutely feel free to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, be mindful of others and take care of yourself. Bye!